Hello dear music connoisseurs. Today I'll be doing a review about this record here. This is Led Zeppelin 4 by the band Led Zeppelin. First of all, I will give you my review about this album, and then I will recommend you some pressings and CD versions of this album here. So let's start. This record was released in 1971. And it's the fourth record by the band Led Zeppelin. Many call this their fourth record, or simply Led Zeppelin 4, although it is officially untitled, so it has no title. So let's start with a track-by-track review by me. So, okay, here again the inner cover. Very nice, an aramid, I think it's called in English, high on a mountain. And here walks as you can see, the lady that thinks that everything that glitters is gold. Yeah, and that's the little town. Yeah. So okay, and that's the inner cover, where the lyrics of Stairway to Heaven are printed on. On the back cover you can see all the tracks. So it starts with the track Black Dog. It's a rather unconventional rocker, but a very nice track, very nice guitars by Jimmy Page throughout this record. Then the track Rock and Roll, which is just a simply rock and roller, but very good to listen to. Recommended track. Then the third track is the song The Battle of Evermore. It was inspired by the great J.R. Tolkien, and it's about Middle Earth, about the Lord of the Rings style. Very nice track with mandolin, great guitars. Yeah, and also a guest singer and the woman who sings on this sings exactly. It's unbelievable, like Robert Plant, but only one octave higher than him. It's I don't know how they found this singer, but they found her. And then the fourth track, the last track on the A side, is the majestic and fantastic track Stairway to Heaven. By the way, this song was voted in, I think it was the Rolling Stone magazine, or the readers of the Rolling Stone magazine voted the guitar solo of Stairway to Heaven as the #1 guitar solo of all time in the rock history. And I also got to tell you, it's a very fantastic solo by Page. You know, Stairway, it starts very slow with just guitars and a keyboard flute. I think it's played on a keyboarded flute, or a recorder as we call it in English. And it climaxes more and more as far as the song goes on. You know, first of all there come the drums, then it gets slower, and then it all climaxes into that great guitar solo, and ends again with very slow. A fantastic track. You probably heard it already. I tell you, this is just. I tell you, I recommend you buying this album just for this track alone. It's an absolute outstanding masterpiece in the rock history. Okay, let's go to the B side. It starts with the pop song, as we might call it. It's some kind of pop rock song, Misty Mountain Hop. Nothing special, but nice little tune. Then it goes to the track Four Sticks. It's called Four Sticks, but because John Bonham, the drummer of the band, played this with 4 drumsticks. Don't know how he did it. It's interesting to listen to, and it has some great early synthesizers at the end of the track, played by John Paul Jones, the keyboarder and bass player of Led Zeppelin. Then it goes to the folk song that includes only guitar, and a very melodic song Going to California. Nice little hippie tune. Great song. With just the acoustic guitar. Then the 8-minute long, my second favorite track of this album, When the Levee Breaks. It's a rendition, I think, a cover of an old blues song, Led Zeppelin style, with fantastic, I tell you, really stomping drums by John Bonham. Fantastic song. Really one of the standout tracks of this whole album. Yeah. So what can I say about it? It's an absolute masterpiece. Yeah, it's a must-own for every rock collector. And I give it the highest rating that I can give an album. It's also one of my favorite records of all time. Okay, that's it for the for my review about this album. And now I will recommend you some pressings of this record. Okay, first of all, this album only exists in stereo, so there are no mono mixes of this album. And like I said, I don't think that there are any bad versions of this album, because Jimmy Page controls the whole Led Zeppelin catalog, and he really cares about the sound. So a really bad version, I think you won't find a very bad version of this album in any kind, except for maybe some bootlegs, but I don't have one, so I can tell. So first of all, I will give you some information about good CD versions. You know, I highly recommend you buying the first CD version from the 80s that was mastered by Barry Diamond. I think it's called Barry Diamond, or yeah, something like that. And he really knew what he was doing. A very nice flat transfer of the tape. Sounds very nice. I recommend it. Then the second best, I think, for compact discs are the 2012, 2014 remasters, who are supervised and by Jimmy Page. And I think the guitar sounds very good on those. Fantastic. The drums also. Only the bass is a bit, I think it's mixed up low. I don't think it's mixed a little bit down low. Could have done that better, but it's nothing very severe or something like that. It's also okay. Everything great on those. The worst sounding, but also not bad, yeah, are the 1993, 1994 versions mastered by George Marino. They're great too. Can't say something about them. Maybe a bit too much equalization, like always in George Marino's work on compact disc mastering. But they ain't bad. Sound great too. So then let's go to the vinyl versions that I can recommend. I've got this record in this version. This is, as you can see, this is also the version that I would recommend. This is the first British UK version on the so-called Plumb label, Plumb Atlantic, or Orange, or how this color is, Orange Plum label. And I think it's the best sounding version ever released of this record. As you can see, as you can read in the dead wax, it is written where is it? Ah, here, Porky. It's Porky on one side, and on the other side you can read Pekodak. That means it was mastered by George Peckham, one of the greatest mastering engineers of all time. And he was, I think he was an Englishman. He was an absolute genius. I know today that many consider Barry Gruntman and how's his name, Kevin Gray as some of the greatest, and they are. Tell you, if you have something mastered by those guys, then you mostly got the definitive version of it. But I think that George Peckham was even better than those. Like I said before, he was an absolute genius in mastering. all his mastering work are the definitive versions of these albums that he made. You can believe me. So if you can't buy or get this UK version, then I will recommend you the first US version of this record. It was also mastered by George Peckham, because in the Dead Wax there's also written Pecco Duck and Porky. I also got this version, and I think they sound almost exactly the same. Absolutely perfect, best sounding version that you could get on vinyl. So I also got this as the first, or some of the earliest 70s versions of a German pressing with PF in the matrix. That means it was mastered by Tonstudio Pfand in Hamburg. And it doesn't sound bad at all, it sounds very good too, but I think this Peckham version sounds a little bit clearer, a little bit more, how can I say it, more softer, not softer, more smoother. The drums sound very dynamic, absolutely fantastic. It sounds as if, let me say that I couldn't have mastered it better than George Peckham. And but the German version ain't bad at all. If get one another from another country, their first pressing, they're also very great. But but I can recommend you some early 70s, mid 70s or late 70s UK pressings. I got the first album of Led Zeppelin on one of those pressings, and it sounds absolutely amazing too. So this is what I can recommend, or mid 70s, late 70s pressing of a US version. But I don't think they have the Porky and Pecco Duck in the run out groove. Yeah, so that was my recommendation for you for this album. I hope you liked this video. Please give me then a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and listening, and that's all.